You don't accidentally end up staying in the Houston Heights. People move here thinking it's just a convenient place to live, and then 5, 10, 20 years later, they're still here. And it's not because it's perfect, it's because once you understand how the area actually works day to day, it's really hard to find something better. So if you're thinking about moving to the Houston Heights or just somewhere within Houston, you really need to understand what living here actually feels like before you make a decision that you can't easily undo, because this area can either be exactly what you're looking for or completely wrong for you. Most people hear Houston Heights and think cool area, close to downtown, older homes, but that's really surface level. But what really matters is how your daily life changes once you've moved here. And that's what I want to walk you through. Quick question for you. Are you looking for something more walkable and central? Or are you okay with being further out if it means more space? Because that one decision can completely change whether the Houston Heights even makes sense for you. The biggest reason people move to the Houston Heights is simple. It's access. You're minutes from downtown. You're close to major freeways. You're not spending your life in your car. What most people don't expect is how much that changes your routine. Instead of planning your entire day around driving, you start doing things more spontaneously. Dinner doesn't feel like a production. Running errands doesn't take up half your day. And that sounds small, but over time it adds up in a big way. Here's where it gets more real. Living in Houston Heights feels very different from living in other parts of Houston. You've got tree-lined streets, local restaurants, older homes with character, but also you've got tighter streets, less uniform construction, and more variation between house to house. And that really does matter, because two homes on the same street can be completely different. One might feel solid and well maintained, and another might look great on the surface, but have things that you just wouldn't notice right away. This is where people get tripped up. They walk into a home here and they see the charm, the finishes, the layout, and they're sold. But what they're not paying attention to is how the home was built, how it's aged, and what's been updated and what hasn't. And in an area like the Houston Heights, that really does matter more than anywhere else in Houston, because you're dealing with a mix of older homes, renovations, new construction, all within the same neighborhood. When you're walking through homes, are you mostly focused on how it looks, or are you trying to figure out how it's actually built? Because those are two completely different approaches, and one of those can get very expensive really fast. Now, here's the part that keeps people here long term. Once you've dialed in that right home and in that right part of the Heights, your day-to-day becomes really hard to replicate elsewhere. You're close to everything. You got personality in the neighborhood. You're not dealing with the same level of sprawl. So even if you could move, a lot of people don't want to, because the trade-offs elsewhere start to feel bigger than the benefits. That said, this area is not for everyone, and this is where you really need to be honest with yourself. If you want large lots, brand new everything, and more separation between neighbors, you're probably going to feel constrained here. If you don't like street parking, older infrastructure, or variations between homes, it can wear on you over time. And this is where a lot of buyers get it wrong. They fall in love with the idea of the Heights without thinking through whether it actually makes sense or fits their lifestyle. Let me ask you this, what matters to you more right now? Being close to everything or having more space and new construction? Drop that in the comments, because that one answer will tell you a lot about where you should actually be looking. Here's the part that most people don't talk about. In the Houston Heights, you can absolutely buy the right house, but you can also buy the wrong one and not even realize it until later. And it usually just comes down to this, not really understanding what you're buying. It's easy to focus on the kitchen, the bathroom, and the layout, but what matters just as much is the structure, the drainage, and quality of the updates, how the home was built and put together, and that's not always obvious. Houston Heights works extremely well if you want to be central, you value lifestyle over square footage, you like character over cookie cutter, and you're okay with making smart trade-offs instead of just chasing perfection. And if that's you, then this area can be one of the best decisions that you ever make. On the flip side, you should probably look elsewhere if you want everything brand new, you need more space, or you prefer predictability in the neighborhoods. Because trying to force this area to fit when it doesn't is really where people end up frustrated. So when you hear people say they moved to the Houston Heights and never left, this is why. It's not hype, it's just a very specific type of lifestyle, and it works really well for the right person. And if you understand that going in, you're going to make a much better decision. If you're seriously thinking about moving to Houston or just narrowing down areas like the Heights, make sure you're subscribed. I break this down so that you can actually understand what you're getting into before you even make that move. And if you're already looking at homes in Houston and you want help making the right call, reach out. I help you see what most people miss before it even becomes a problem.